So you want to have an out-of-body experience, but you don't know where to start, or maybe you're someone that's been trying to do this for a long time and haven't had much success. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the most powerful methods and also the steps to be able to have astral projections and out-of-body experiences on demand. Alright, welcome to the channel. My name is Florentine and I have many out-of-body experiences, many astral projections, and I've also taught this to many other people around the world. For me, this was not something that came from early childhood. I had to really learn this and I had to develop systems and tools in order to help me to have these experiences on a regular basis. And in this video, I want to share what I've learned, and I want you to also learn how to have out-of-body experiences on demand. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I want you to know is that there are multiple methods in order to achieve this. We have the indirect method, which is a method that we do by transitioning from a dream, having a lucid dream, and then transitioning from that into an astral projection. Then the second method is the semi-indirect method, which is a method that you can do while sleeping. You're going to wake up from sleep, and from that sleepy state you're going to be able to project. And then the third one is the direct method, which is the way that we meditate ourselves into this deep state in order to project from there. Now in this video I'm going to focus on the direct method just to make it more simple for you. And so the direct method is essentially, if you look at this graphics I have here, you can see that there's different brainwave states that we visualize here. We have the beta frequency. This is essentially when you're fully awake, like right now, you're in the beta frequency range. And then when you get yourself into a deeper state by relaxing and getting deeper, you're gonna end up somewhere around here is alpha, and then you have theta, and then you have delta. In delta, this is where we are asleep, we're not consciously aware. And then in theta, this is essentially where we want to get into in order to have astral projections. So it's a specific brainwave state and a specific state that we get into with our body, with our energy body. And when we get there, magical things happen. All right, now step one. Before you even start with the actual practice itself, you need to define why you're doing this. What is it that you want to achieve? You need to write this down and be really clear with your intentions, because your intentions are very important with this practice. So is it because you want to connect with your spirit guides, maybe a loved one that has passed over to the other side, or maybe it is that you want to experience your true essence, who you are beyond the physical body? Is it for spiritual development, or is it maybe just for fun? Like, why do you want to do this? Really define this very clearly so that you know when you do this practice what it is that's actually motivating you to do this. This will help you to actually show up for the practice on a regular basis and put in the work and start having amazing success. Step 2. Now, the second thing you want to do is to make sure that you have a dedicated practice space for this practice. It really helps if you have a separate room. I like to call it my astral room, which is a room that I step into in order to practice this. This is a separate room to the one that I'm sleeping, because you want to recondition yourself for having astral projections in that room. If you go and do it in your bedroom, you've conditioned yourself to sleep in that room. Automatically, just by going into your bedroom, you're already getting into that sleep stage, because different rooms trigger different emotions in our subconscious. So in order to have more success with astral projections, you really want to have a separate room where you have all your dedicated tools and maybe your sofa, your bed, whatever you have in there prepared for the practice. If you don't have an astral room or a room that you can dedicate for this, then you can use your bedroom, but try to make things different. So if you sleep with your head on one side, then sleep with your head in the other side when you're doing the practice. Also, it helps to have many pillows propped up so that you are in a more laying, kind of more sitting up position. If you're completely laying down, you're most likely going to fall asleep. This happens a lot, especially if you're a deep sleeper. You're going to fall asleep and you're going to lose out on the practice. So usually have this position that is something like this, where you're in a more kind of reclined position, 45 degrees angle I would recommend. And this is going to help you to actually stay awake and not fall asleep. Now, along with preparing your space, you also want to prepare your mind. So you want to make sure that you are in an open state of mind. you're open for whatever is going to come, and you have a strong intention for this practice. You have a specific intention that you want to do. Maybe it is that you're going to go out of body and you're going to meet with your spirit guides, or maybe it's just that you're going to fly around your neighborhood. You need to have that intention very clearly, because when you get into these deeper states, you often forget what you're trying to do because you're going to be in a bit of a drowsy state. So you need to have a very, very clear intention before you actually start the practice. All right, step 3. Now that you have your intention and you have your space, you're gonna lay down and you're going to relax. And you're going to relax deeply. You wanna be very comfortable, so make sure that any pillows that are bothering you or itching you are fixed. You wanna make sure that your position is very comfortable, that you can lie there for a long period of time. Also make sure that there is no distractions around you. There's no neighbors making sounds or dogs barking or kids jumping around. This is something that you want to do in complete silence with zero distractions. Also, the temperature in the room, make sure that it's comfortable temperature. A lot of times when you do this practice, you will start getting pretty warmed up. So make sure that it's a little bit on the cooler side, but at the same time, you don't want to be cold. It really helps to have a cold room with a blanket that you put on top of you, so it feels extra cozy, and that's going to relax you as well. Step 4, energy work. So energy work is something that's crucial in order to really energize your energy body for having projections. And you do this simply by closing your eyes, laying there, relaxing, and imagining that there's a source of powerful energy that's beaming into you. So you can imagine the sunlight beaming the rays of light into you, and you can see this light just kind of energizing yourself from within. Or you can imagine that you're just drawing energy from the cosmos, from God, from the universe, any kind of energy source that feels powerful to you. Really imagine yourself breathing that in and bringing that energy into you. And in that way, you energize yourself. And you want to do this for at least 5 minutes. And you can use your breath to breathe in the energy and really feel how that energy is energizing you. And this is very key for having a successful, sustainable projection, because otherwise you can get a body and you will be snapped back very quickly, or you have a very drowsy experience because you haven't energized your energy body enough. Step 5, surrender fully. All right, so once you've finished with the energy work, you've energized yourself, it's now time to really let go and surrender fully so that you can get into a very, 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 very deep state, which we call the sweet spot. And so if you look at this graphics here, when you're going to start off, you're going to be fully awake, you're going to be in a beta frequency range. As you relax and get deeper, you're going to get past the alpha state, and you're going to start seeing hypnagogic images around here. And in order to get out of body, you need to get even deeper. So at some point around here, your physical body has fallen asleep, and this happens after at least half an hour. And then you continue getting deeper until you get into the theta state, which is the sweet spot. And that's when the magic happens. And in order to get there, you just really need to relax fully. You know, you can scan through the body, make sure to scan through all the muscles, the face, the body, like every single muscle needs to be completely relaxed. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize, how deeply you need to go. I can tell you that it's like this. If you ever seen someone trying to sleep on a bus, for example, in the first moments when they try to sleep, they'll be sitting like this and they're relaxing and they think they're fully relaxed. And then at some point when they actually fall asleep, their whole body will do something like this. And so that's really when the full relaxation takes place, when the body goes completely numb like this, right? And so you're actually going to try to achieve the same level of relaxation, but without falling asleep. And this is where the tricky part comes with the astral projection practice, because we've conditioned ourselves every night when we go to sleep to go to sleep by first our minds goes to sleep, and then our body goes to sleep. And right now what you're doing is you're going to put your body to sleep, put your body completely asleep, and then get your mind into very deep states. And this is something that you've never really done before. So there takes some practice in order to achieve this. That's why it's called a practice, but it's not that hard, and it's pretty magical when you start finding that your body has fallen asleep. You no longer know if your hands are pointing like this or like that. It feels just really heavy. You start to lose the awareness of the physical body. It no longer itches you or tickles you. It's completely silent. and you're now able to get even deeper, and then you're able to go into the sweet spot. And that brings us to step 6, entering the sweet spot. So the sweet spot is somewhere around here in the theta brainwave state. And you know when you get there because usually you'll start feeling or experiencing non-physical sensations. And these non-physical sensations can be, for example, the famous vibrations. There's like these electrical vibrations that starts to go throughout the whole body. They're very noticeable, and they don't happen usually in the beginning of the practice. It's something that happens suddenly out of the blue when you get deep enough. And they can feel very intense. It can feel like someone is shaking you, or like the whole bed is shaking, like there's an earthquake. But it can also feel very subtle, like just some electrical vibrations going through the body. In any case, it's usually a very noticeable thing. Now, not everybody gets the vibrations. So other people might get sounds. It might be some weird buzzing sounds, or it might be voices. It might be music, like something just feels, and you can hear it very clearly. It's not like it's far away. It's like almost like there's voices next to your ears speaking. And it can be other non-physical sensations too. Like you might see a very vivid landscape, or you might feel like you're floating. Like different sensations like that are a sign that you're now in the right state. Now, what's really important when you get here is that you remain calm. Do not get scared. It's normal that you hear these sounds. It's normal that you feel these vibrations. Nothing bad is happening. You're just transitioning from the physical world into the non-physical. You can see it a bit like switching a channel on a radio. You know, when you switch a channel from one channel to another, there's this point in the middle of the channel where there's like a static noise, where you kind of hear maybe both channels at the same time, and there's like shh noise like that. That's a bit how I perceive, and many people perceive, the vibrational state. It's just like this in-between state. And it's like a doorway that's opening, a portal if you like, that you can now step into. Now, full disclosure, getting into the sweet spot is absolutely the hardest thing to do when it comes to the astral projection practice, unless you're using some sort of powerful soundtracks that can help guide you into the right state using binaural beats, and also keep you in the right state so you don't end up falling asleep and missing out on the whole experience entirely. I've included some links below where you can get access to our super powerful soundtracks. These soundtracks consist of not only binaural beats, but also powerful hypnotic suggestions to get you into the right state, and also specific sound effects that wake you up in case you end up falling asleep. You can access these soundtracks below this video in our astral projection communities. And that brings us to step 7. Exiting the body. So this part, usually a lot of people mess it up because they try to do it in very different advanced ways. They try to like peel themselves off, or they try to get their astral body out of their physical body, and they're just really overcomplicating it. And it's the reason why a lot of people are stuck in their bodies, even if they are getting into vibrational state. It's actually very simple. All you have to do is just to simply get out of the bed or the sofa, wherever you're practicing. Just get away from that place. And it can be that you're sitting up, or it can be that you're rolling out. Whatever it is, you just simply go for it. You don't try to do it slowly. You don't try to do it in any advanced ways. You don't try to think, oh, I'm gonna leave with my energy body. No. When you are in that state, you just have to simply stand up, roll out, just get away from the bed. And that will take you from your physical body automatically, because when you are in this state, you're gonna be inside of your energy body. You're not gonna be anymore inside of your physical body. Your physical body is now in sleep paralysis. It's gonna remain completely still, and you're just gonna move out with your energy body. And you don't have to think about which body am I gonna use, how do I activate the energy body versus the physical body. None of that is important. You have already transitioned into your energy body because you're experiencing these non-physical sensations. So just simply get away from the bed and make sure to take at least a 5-meter distance from the bed, because otherwise you get sucked back in. And that brings us to step 8. So as soon as you've exited the body and you've taken some distance away from it, it's now time to stabilize your experience by looking at your hands and trying to see your hands. Like, make the intention, I want to see my hands, I want to see them, I want to count my fingers, and you kind of rub your hands together. You're going to feel the rubbing, but you might not see anything. It might be completely black. You're going to be able to feel almost like a blind person in the beginning. It's just black, darkness, you don't see anything, but you can feel things. You can feel your environment. You can grab onto a door or the table. You can feel the physical objects. They're not going to be hard as in physical reality, but they're going to have some substance. They're going to have some density. So you're going to really be able to feel yourself around. And you want to make these intentions, these stabilization techniques that you want to be able to see. So you say things like clarity now, vision now, awareness now, like I want to see, like, and you have to repeat these commands in order to make them become powerful, because a lot of times if you just say it once, nothing's really going to happen. You have to repeat them a few times until you see that your vision starts to appear, and then you are now able to see. You can look around yourself, you can see things, and you can now start exploring. And that's where the fun starts. And in this point, you also want to remind yourself of the intention that you have of, maybe it was to meet with a spirit guide, or maybe it was to experience your higher self or connect with a loved one. This is when you want to do that. As soon as you got your crystal clear vision of everything, that's when you want to now go and explore. If you start exploring before that, you're gonna have a very kind of dreamlike, loose experience, and you're not gonna remember much. It's not gonna be very valuable of an experience. So you always have to make sure to stabilize your experience once you get out of body before you start exploring. Step 9, explore. So now that you're out of body, you can now explore. And when you explore, it's really something that, I mean, this is profound. Congratulations, if you got to this step, you've done everything correctly, you're now able to explore. The exploration is something that you do with your intention. You know, you're moving around the space that you're in. Maybe you are in your living room or your bedroom, or maybe you are in a completely different dimension altogether, and you're seeing other people, you're seeing buildings, maybe you're in the future, or maybe you're in the past. You're going to be able to then navigate this space with your intention. Just decide what you want to do. If you want to go forward, just make that intention. You want to go forward, and you'll start going forward. If you want to go backwards, you'll go backwards. If you want to fly, you can just make that intention to fly. This is a completely thought responsive reality that operates depending on your thoughts. So it's very important to have your thoughts in check here. You know, don't give in to fear, or don't become too excited. Any emotions that are too kind of spiked up will bring you back to the body. So you need to just remain calm, just explore, and just have fun with it, and see, you know, how far can you go, how much fun can you have. And then also make sure to don't have the experience like too long. If you go out and you have a long hour, maybe 2-hour experience, when you come back, it's going to be a lot of information for you to try to download back into your brain. And because this experience does not happen in the mind, you will most likely forget a lot of things. So have a short experience. Just go out for a few minutes, do one thing. Maybe it's that you're flying up and you see a spaceship, and you look around at this spaceship, and then you come back. Or maybe you go into the spaceship, explore a little bit, and then come back. But don't stay out for too long, because you're going to forget a lot of the content if you're out for too long. And also important to mention is that, you know, 1 minute in physical reality might be 1 hour in this other dimension that you go to. So time can be a bit difficult to tell when you're out of body. You're not going to really know how long time you're out of body in that dimension, because you can't calculate like that. But what you can do is just think about how many things you've done. So if you just flight up to a spaceship and you saw some aliens and then you came back, okay, maybe that was like a 5-10 minute experience. You know, you can sort of calculate like that. But if you're having a full day of multiple experiences and saw all kinds of places and spoke to all kinds of spirit guides and angels, and then you came back, it's going to be hard to remember all of that. So keep it short and powerful, and keep your awareness up throughout the whole experience. Step 10, returning and integration. So when you're done with your experience, you can just simply return, and you do that by just thinking about returning. Just the thought of, I want to go back, or you're thinking about your bedroom, or you're thinking about your physical body, boom, you're back immediately. This is such an easy command. And when you're back, you want to make sure to just remain completely still and just play back in your mind what just happened. What kind of experience did you have? Don't move and do anything. Just keep still and just download essentially the memory, the experience that you had. Just download it into your mind. And as soon as you have it, open your eyes and start writing that into your journal. Personally, what I like to do is to take up ChatGPT and just start speaking to ChatGPT exactly what the things that happened in a, it can be in a very random way, and then ChatGPT can actually take that random, thing that you just shared there, and it can just organize it in a nice sort of linear way, and you can use that to copy paste that into your journal. And then you also want to reflect on what you learned in that practice. What did it mean? Reflect on sort of integrating the actual experience itself, so that you just really kind of try to you want to work with these experiences and understand what they actually mean to you. What happened there? Why did that happen? What did you learn from the experience? And then the last thing that you also want to do in this process is to analyze your own practice. How did it go? What did you do? If it was a successful practice, what do you think made it successful? Was it that you went to sleep earlier that night that made it work for you? Like, you have to take note of all the different things that goes into the practice. When did you wake up? What practice did you use? What technique did you use? What method did you use? Like, all these different details, you want to track them and kind of look at it as you're kind of like a scientist doing an experiment with yourself. And so every single ingredient that goes into a practice, you really want to write them down, because you're not going to remember this a week from now. You're not going to remember what made it successful or what made it not successful. What we do with our students is that we track everything that we're doing. We're making sure that everything that we've tried has been logged in or logged into a system, so that our students know, when they've been successful, what are the reasons why that was successful, and when they haven't been successful, what can be the reasons to why that happened. And in this process, you start to become more aware of what is working for you and what isn't working. And then by fine-tuning the practice in this way, you can start focusing more on what works and less on the things that doesn't work. So this is using the scientific method of trial and error in order to fine-tune your practice, in order to get to a very high success rate, like 100% success rate, where you can just project on demand. And that's what you would like to do, obviously. Now, the final and most important step in this whole process, if you want to be successful with astral projection, is to not make the mistake that many do, to do this practice alone. We speak to countless people that have tried to do this on their own, and they've been trying for years and years and years, and they just haven't got anywhere. And personally, I did not do this alone. I had teachers, and everybody that I know that's ever been successful at this, they had teachers as well. Unless you're someone that's gifted, that was born with this ability from early childhood, if you're like me that had to learn this, you need to have some teachers, you need to have some support. And so I invite you to join my free school community below. I put a link below in the description. In this school community, you're going to find a community of people that are motivated like you to achieve this, that you can connect with and talk about the different techniques and different ways to achieve this. And you're going to get access to me and other powerful teachers like Falcon Achemesis, who's been doing this for decades, and other people, powerful people like that in the space as well. And you're also going to get access to the first method that I teach in my program, the one that you can transition from a lucid dream into an astral projection. All of that for free in this free community. All you have to do is just click below and join. And this is the place that you want to be. If you're serious about starting with this journey, that you're going to love what we created here. It's a supportive community that's going to help you move forward with this practice, so that you don't try to do this on your own and get stuck and frustrated. If you've tried this practice for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. And if you're a beginner, then don't fall into the same trap that most people do. Try to figure this out on your own by watching all these different YouTube videos. This is a practice that you need help. Now, I also want to say, if you got some value, if you got any value from this video, it'll be really helpful for the channel and for me if you could actually like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with the next kind of videos I'm going to be creating, because I'm going to be creating lots of cool videos about this topic which you don't want to miss out. So make sure to subscribe and like, and may the force be with you.